What is going on, everyone? AP over here at Rumpier Sports, bringing to you once again. We got the Strokes Gain Show. We got the usual suspects, and we got a special guest, Drew Matthews, Red Kachik. What's going on, my man? How are you doing today? Let's bring you in first. What's going on? How are you feeling about the Zurich Classic this week?
Yeah, it's a pretty fun event to watch. I won't lie. It's obviously weird for handicapping purposes with different players coming in with different forms, but it is a fun event. A little unique. I kind of wish this was after the Masters, instead of having two elevated events back to back. But yeah, it's really. I mean, it's not as bad as I think some of the other alternate field events that we've seen. I kind of like this change in the schedule. So I'm looking forward to it. Thanks for having me, and yeah, hopefully we can keep the winners going. I know it's been a couple good weeks.
Yeah, it has been a couple good weeks. You know, we got a lot going on right now. Obviously, NBA playoffs, MLB is up and going. Golf is, full swing right now. So it's a good time to be a member over here at Rumpier Sports. If you haven't yet, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Helps us out a lot here. If you're not a member, we got a couple codes, Snyder15 or Locks15. Locks, look at you, man. Let's bring you in. You got the Locks 15 right down there. I don't even know if we have the Drew 15 yet. Drew, do we got the Drew 15 yet? Oh, it's hurtful. No. Shaking his head. Oh, man.
Hurtful.
we'll get it going. Locks, what's going on, my man? How was your week last week? How are you feeling about the Zurich Classic this week?
Yeah, kind of a mediocre week. Kind of just stayed right around profit. A little bit of profit, not too much last week, but we're looking at this week. I'm not too fond of these events, so I'm going to be playing a little lighter. I'll just be honest with you. I don't know. I don't have a niche for these kind of events. They are fun, so I'll gladly throw some teams in, probably listen to more of your guys' takes. And then I like to play kind of like the lower-owned guys that nobody's playing in these type of events a little bit. So that's where I'll be kind of looking. But, yeah, excited to dive into another week.
You know, I'm going to call bullshit on that right now, Locks, and you know why? I say that every year. I hate this event. I'm reducing volume. And you know what happens? I never reduce volume. I usually play like more. And so I'm calling BS in there. I bet Locks ends up playing his normal volume this week. That's my bold call of the week. Snyder, let's go over to you. What's going on, my man? How are you doing this week? And how do you feel about the Zurich Classic?
Yeah, it's going good over here. Looking forward to a little change up in the schedule here. It's pretty fun. It's kind of a volatile event, but it's always fun to watch these guys mix in some different formats and such. So it'll be fun. And we've got a couple of stacked teams up top, and then it looks like a lot of lottery-type teams going downward.
Yeah, I mean, lottery is putting it, is definitely like we got John Daly and Dave Duvall. Wow. I mean, there definitely are some really cheeky teams.
How'd you give away my sleeper already?
John Daly, your sleeper? I like it. How we're going to do it each and every week, or I guess how we're going to keep our same format, we're going to go tier by tier. This week, though, we're going to talk about the teams and who we like, who we're on, who we're fading. Snyder, let's just kick it right back to you. Talk to us about the course and talk to us about how this event is different and what the people should expect.
Yeah, we're here at TPC Louisiana this week. It's a Pete Dye track that's going to measure 7,425 yards. It's going to play as a par 72. Golfers are going to see 8 holes with water in play here. Lots of sand in play here this week. 106 bunkers are going to litter the property here. The Bermuda grass greens are going to be overseeded with POA here. They're going to be running right around 11.5 on the stent meter. It looks like these greens are going to average right around average size for a tour green here, right around 5,225 square feet on average. The rough's going to be playing at around 2 inches here. This week is a pretty unique event here as we've got 82-man events here teeing up here. The top 33 teams and ties are going to make it to the weekend here. Rounds 1 and 3, they're going to be playing best ball. And then rounds 2 and 4, they're going to be playing alternate shot here. So that's going to mix in some interesting dynamics here. During the best ball play, scoring will be high here. You're going to need to acquire that 3-hole bonus, 3-hole birdie streak bonus. That's going to be huge here. So I expect a lot more scoring in the best balls. And then it's going to be interesting in the alternate shots. See how that goes. I'll be looking for like high birdie upside golfers this week, pairings that compensate each other well. Some of the other key stats we'll be looking at this week, birdies are better gain, strokes gained tee to green, DK points, putting, and just like all-around golfers here. And how the two team chemistry, maybe how they mesh together. But yeah, looking forward to this event.
I mean, anytime I hear alternate shot, we all got our stories. Like, I mean, Snyder, so it was the Firethorn member, and part of that is 9 holes alternate shot each day, and my partner just pipes one right out middle of the fairway. We're sitting ideal, like absolutely perfect. Yeah, and I walk up, it's not my turn to hit, and I just shank it OB, and all I hear is a big sigh from my partner, and it's like I wanted to punch him after that because like the hole before he just shanked one and screwed us. So I'm like, so that's just the dynamic is just so crazy, so different. And but these are professional golfers; they're not scrubs like me. But I'm sure these guys still get tilted. I mean, Drew, I got to go over to you. The pro golfer in here. I mean, what's your take on alternate shot at the professional level?
I mean, the guys are pretty good. So I think the biggest thing there is you're trying to identify the weakest link. I think that's the biggest issue. Just looking through the winners, like the best teams have always won this event. More than likely, or at least come in second. So yeah, I think going through the player pool, looking for the weakest link is usually going to be the kind of like the floor play. So from a professional standpoint, these guys are all professionals, but a lot are coming in with very poor form. And again, best ball, they could probably ham and egg it okay, but alternate shot will reveal like I said, the floor is really the worst form coming in. So take a look at the worst guy, and that's probably a good determination on what the actual team's going to do, especially an alternate shot, because that's the difference maker. I mean, that's how Cantlay and Xander can play so well. We've seen Cameron Smith win with 2 different partners. It's just the alternate shot can really break teams in this week. Yeah,
very, very good points. Let's hop into it. We're going to go tier by tier. We're going to start with 10K and up. We got 4 teams up in the 10K range. Snyder, I'm going to start with you. Then we're going to go to Drew. Then we're going to go to Locke. Snyder, we got four squads up here. What are you doing with these guys? Obviously, Colin Morikawa, your boy, and Max Homa are up in this range. They're also up there right alongside Patrick Cantlay, Xander Schauffele. What are you doing with these 4 teams? Who are you on? Who are you fading?
Yeah, I'm only going to be playing 2 of the 4 teams up here. I'm going to start every team with either Cantlay or Xander. I think they're like plus 350 or plus 250 to win this event. So, I mean, it's incredibly tough to fade them. I'm not worried about that price tag. So, I mean, they won this event last year. They've had incredible chemistry together and all sorts of team type events there, whether it's like the President's Cup or the Ryder Cup, if they're matched together. Love them. And then Morikawa and Homa, the 2 LA guys, team Morikawa, I definitely am going to have some shares of them for sure. They're both, Homa isn't really entering with the best of form. Morikawa has been playing decent, all right. He's shown some flashes of upside. I definitely like Cantlay and Xander as number 1, and then Morikawa, Homa 2 would be the next guys I'm going for. I'm just not going to go with Sungjae Im. I think Keith Mitchell is priced up way too high here. He's not been playing the greatest, and then I'm definitely not paying $10K for Justin Suh in this event. So I think that's kind of an easy cross-offs for me down there. I realize Cantlay and Morikawa are going to be 2 of the highest owned in this, but I'm going to be skipping some guys in that 9K range, so that's going to kind of help me out there. So it's definitely going to be either Cantlay or Morikawa to start all my teams.
One thing about Sungjae is I would love him on my team. The guy like never misses a shot, it seems like. Really good ball striker. From a tee to green standpoint, he's going to be sitting really good, like someone that you can absolutely trust. And then Thigala, he's a gamer, man. And I kind of like those type of guys in this format. So top range is easy. Obviously, the chalk up top, Cantlay, Xander. I mean, the decision is like, do you be bold and fade them or lock them in? Let's find out what Drew's doing. Drew, what are you doing with this top range and specifically with the defending champs, Cantlay and Xander?
Yeah, I think they're both playing in too good a form to pass it up at 11-1. I can get weird with some cheaper guys. So I think I'm pretty much on board with what Snyder said. The Max Homa and Morikawa is interesting. Morikawa did not do as well as I was hoping last week. I know it was me and Tony's or Big T's call for the winner last week and really didn't do much. So I probably just want to hammer Cantley and Schauffele and then take my chances. So this is probably one of the few spots they're going to be like 50% owned. So you kind of really do have to take a stand here. It's not like getting John Rahm at 25 or 30% and you can kind of go overweight the field. I mean, going overweight the field here, it's pretty much like all in or nothing. So I really do like just going to Cantley and Schauffele. I think that twosome there are studs. So yeah, I think I'm just going to go to Cantley, Schauffele, probably have a little home in Morikawa, but there's no way I'm paying Sungjae Im and Keith Mitchell, and certainly not Sue and Thigala. I just think if I'm going to spend up, I'm going to spend up.
Yeah, and the other thing that I think people sometimes do in this format is just overthink it. I've been a victim of that, and where it's just like, oh, they're going to be so high owned, I got to fade them, and then you just get punished if they go out and win. And this team they're an absolute beast. These guys want to win back-to-back events. Like Spieth was right there down the stretch last week. How many times have we seen it this year alone where the defending champ is right in the mix? I would not be surprised, and Vegas is not surprised at all either, if Cantlay and Xander win. So I'm definitely leaning towards just locking them in and then getting different elsewhere. That's a fine strategy, and it just seems like it makes a lot of sense. But Locks, what are you doing with the 10K range? Is there any chance that you're fading Xander and Patrick Cantlay?
Definitely not fading that team. Xander and Cantlay, I mean, they're too good. They're in too good a form, and together they're even better. So it's too hard to fade those guys. The team I will be fading up here actually is Morikawa and Homa. I'm definitely going to be fading them. I don't know. I haven't seen it. I think Homa's going to hit some shots close. Morikawa missed the putt. There's just going to be some bad mojo going on there. So I'm going to fade this team as being the second highest owned up here. And then I'm going to fade Thigala and Suh as well. The guys I actually do like are Sungjae Im and Keith Mitchell. I mean, really, I think their games are going to complement each other a little bit. And with this ball striking out of these two, I mean, they could do some damage, I think. So I think they're my second favorite team up in this 10K range.
Yeah, very good. I just think like the move here is make it easy, lock in Cantlay, lock in Xander, lock in that team, fade I'm probably just going to fade the other three. Like, I know I talked up Thigala. He's a gamer. Sungjae Im never misses, but man, I would just rather get overweight on Cantlay, Xander, make life easy. And then there's going to be teams down here, like obviously we're going to get into this 9K range. There's going to be some really nice squads down here that I think make far more sense than overpaying for guys like Thigala, Sungjae Im, in this group, and especially Snyder's boy, Colin Morikawa. I mean, Max Homa's been good, but like when you're talking about his form, I think a lot of it maybe is just fatigue. The guy's been playing like each and every week, every single event, elevated events, majors. The guy probably needs a break. And then Colin Morikawa, I just, when you're alternate shot, and you got Colin Morikawa standing over a 10-foot putt, Snyder, that's not the guy I want taking that putt at all. And then Max Homa, looking at him, probably making fun of his swing on Twitter afterwards. No, I can't get on that team. Let's keep it going, though. Let's go.
Just looking at the odds, though, when's the last time we've seen like any golfer or a team at plus 300? I mean, John Rahm may have been like plus 300, plus 400 when he just nuked that Mexico Open event. I think
didn't we just lock him in that week?
Yeah,
sometimes you just got to make it easy. You lock it in, you move on. There's always going to be ways to get different. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what we do this week.
And I think they should be like 50% owned, and I think they're only going to be like 25 to 30.
Oh yeah, I mean, people are going to play everyone. So especially at a team event like this, everyone's going to get, even Wesley Bryan, Grayson Murray, they're going to get some ownership.
John Daly's going to get some from someone.
Yeah, I mean, maybe not Sung Kang and Sang Moon Bay. I mean, that team might not get any ownership, but I might actually play him. Who knows? Snyder, let's keep it with you. Let's go to the 9K range. We got, 4 or 5 squads here? David Lipsky and Aaron Rai, 2-glove Aaron Rai, iron covers as well, all the way up to Siwoo Kim and Tom Kim. I kind of like that. Kim squared team. What are you doing with this range? Who you on? Who you fading?
Yeah, I think just based off look, I think a lot of people are going to go to that Siwoo Kim, Tom Kim team, the Korean Mojo there. I'm going to be off them, though. I'm going to go down to Billy Horschel and Bernsey. I mean, these guys have been playing this event very, very well over the last couple of years, second and fourth the last 2 years. So I really like them at 9,500. I think they should be priced where like Sung Jae is. I think they're like $1,000 underpriced here. So I definitely will be on Billy Ho and Burnsy here. And that's going to be about it for me, I think, in this range. I'm just going to fade the rest of these guys. It's going to be tough. If I start my teams with like Cantlay, Horschel, I mean, I'm gonna be living in that 7K range. So maybe I start a few teams with just Burns and try and load up a couple of these 8K guys with them. But I think it's only gonna be Horschel and Burns for me up here. Spawn and Buckley, 9,200. That's a little too much. Kurt Kitayama, it looks like it's gonna be pretty popular. They could reach like 25% ownership, so I'm definitely not playing that. Taylor Montgomery has just been absolutely horrible with the irons there. He's a great putter and such, but I'm going to be off pretty much everybody here. Our guy Windham, I mean, he's got solid upside. Osler, I think they could play together pretty well, but I'm just going to be on Billy Ho and Burns is my only guy up here.
I mean, talk about making life easy. They were like, when I first looked at the teams, and I first looked at the pricing, I was like, well, I'm just going to click the lock button on the Cantlay Xander team, and then Billy Ho, Sam Burns, and then open it up a little bit, like go all in on those two teams, open it up a little bit, and get different elsewhere. That's still what I'm like doing, and I like doing that. Just like literally clicking the lock button on two teams I feel very confident in, and then kind of opening it up and mixing and matching and trying to find that right combination, and just hoping that like I could definitely see down the stretch. Billy Horschel, Burns against Cantlay Xander. I could definitely see that happening. Drew, what are you doing with this 9K range? Who you on? Is there any teams that you're fading down here?
So this range is difficult because of all the things. I think I had the same thought last year with Horschel because he's coming in with terrible, terrible form. So like I just said, take the weakest link, and that's probably what you can expect, at least for 2 or 3 rounds. Horschel's been awful. Horschel's going through, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4 out of his last 6 events have been miscuts. Just terrible. But Burns and him play well together. Horschel's played well at this event. So I probably can't get there, but it's kind of a scary fade. So I understand if people want to go there. And obviously Burns on Bermuda tends to do pretty well. So I'm okay with that. I probably won't go there. I think Wyndham Clark and Bo Hosser is probably where I'm going to go. I really do like Wyndham Clark. He's been playing really, really well, very consistent. So we've known him kind of as a streaky putter over the last couple of seasons. And this year he has turned the corner and played extremely well off the tee and approach. Very consistent for the most part. A couple bad rounds there, API, Farmers Insurance, no big deal. So I think Wyndham Clark, and we just saw Hosser coming off a good finish last week. So I kind of want to play the hot hand in that regard, and that's probably where I go. I don't see Siwoo Kim is okay as himself, but with like Tom Kim, I don't think he's been playing as well as he has at the end of last year. And I don't really want to jump on board if people are just going to go play that team because of Siwoo Kim's finishes. So, and then Hayden Buckley and JJ Spawn, I probably can't pay for anyway. So this is a good range to save some salary and kind of like beat them out, and then pair it with Cantlay and Schauffele and try to figure out what you can do in the 8s and 7s. So that's really just going to be Wyndham Clark, Bo Hosser. I'm going to try to take a stand there.
I actually like that call. Like Wyndham Clark, just like looking week over week, I'm always surprised at how like he's always popping on a tee to green basis. The guy's always been a bomber, can absolutely nuke the ball. I've always thought he plays better out in like California, and that's kind of where I've leaned on playing him. But man, each and every week I look at him, I'm like, gosh, this guy's popping in the stat models, and it just goes to show how good he's played. And then Bo Hosser's always been a good putter, so I kind of like that combination. I think you kind of sold me on a little Mr. Ham, an RPS hero, and then Bo Hosser as well. All right, so Drew, I got one more question for you. There's certain events where I don't even factor in form. One of them is like a match play type event with guys like Billy Horschel, who's just been really good at those events. Matt Kuchar, another one. Even like Kevin Kisner. Yeah. This year, I mean, he was in a tough group. I still stand by. Like I played him, I went really heavy. I still stand by it. He held his own, even though he sucked. What's your take on that with this event and Billy Horschel? Do you think that holds any weight at all, or it's like completely different with this format.
It does. I do think a guy like that can come out of like hibernation with Sam Burns and coming back to an event he's played well at in the past. So it is a scary fade. Like I just don't think I can get there. I'd rather go down, but I 100% agree. I think this is one of the few events where like they can ham and egg it, and I'm not just relying on Billy Horschel's form. Burns has been pretty good, and again, best ball and alternate shot, they can get around this golf course. They're still professionals. Horschel's just not been playing as well as he has been. So I think this is, for some of the guys, Billy Horschel's going to be a grade above the guys in like the 7K or 6K with bad form. Like they're just going to have bad form, and they're probably going to play bad. But yeah, I think Horschel's one of those that can probably pop, and I assume he's going to be low owned because of it. And then, like I said, they've had a good run in this event, and I think course history has proved itself pretty well since like 2018. So I like the call.
All right, very good. Locks, let's go to you. 9K team range. Who are you on and who are you fading?
Yeah, this range is pretty easy for me. I'm with Drew here on Clark and Hostler. I do like them. They're probably my second favorite here in this range. I'm going to be fading Burns and Horschel as well. I haven't seen it really in form. Yeah, for Burns, but I think the way Horschel's been playing just hasn't looked pretty. So I'm going to be off of him. I'll fade that ownership too. But my favorite play here is actually Siwoo and Tom Kim. I think they got some good vibes here and can play well together. I really think they can complement each other well as well. So I do like that team. That's probably my favorite in this 9K range. And then Wyndham Clark and Bo Hostler, probably not playing anybody else in the range.
Yeah, very, very good. For me, I am looking at Billy Horschel, Sam Burns, like I said. Siwoo Kim, Tom Kim, I do think is interesting. And then, Drew, you sold me on Wyndham Clark and Bo Hostler. I'm with you guys, like JJ Spahn, Buckley, overpriced, Kitayama, Montgomery. I can't go there. And, like David Lipsky, Aaron Rai, two guys who are good ball strikers. I don't know. I think they're kind of overpriced. I mean, these are guys that are usually low 7K, 6K type players. So I don't really feel comfortable paying this price tag for them. Well, Aaron Rai has been a little bit better. David Lipsky, definitely more of a 6K type of player. Let's keep it going, though. If you haven't yet hit the like button, hit the subscribe. Helps us out a lot over here at Rumpier Sports. Snyder, we got the 8K range, a larger range here. This is what we're going to do. 2 teams that you like, 1 team that you're fading. It's all you, Snyder.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to have much salary to really play any of these guys, though, because I'm going to play Cantley and Xander most likely, and then I'm going to play either Burns or Wyndham. Like, I'm definitely bought in on that. Looking at the ownership, too, Wyndham and Hostler are going to be under 15%, it looks like, so that's definitely interesting there. So I'll be mixing one in the 10K, one in the 9K range, and I don't think I'm going to have much room to get to any of these guys, but if I had to pick one of them, I'm going to be off of Fitzpatrick there. It looks like they're going to be the chalk in this range. So I would be looking to like a Sam Ryder. I like his upside, him and Doc Redman. They're 8,300. Brendan Todd and Patton Kazire. I think those two kind of mesh together pretty well. They both have kind of different types of games. I mean, Kazire's been more with the irons and such. Brendan Todd's always really good with the short game. I think those two could mix and match pretty good. So I like Todd, Kazire, and then probably Ryder and Redmond down there. It's
Snyder, Snyder, you went from saying you're playing no one, and then you broke my rules when I said only pick 2, and then you talked about 4 teams. We need the fade now.
I said I'm fading Fitzpatrick.
That bold man going. Was I not listening to you?
I said my fade first, and I said 2 teams that I liked.
Love it.
Careful.
Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. We got, all right. So Drew, let's kick it over to you. All right. So this range, I do think it's kind of interesting. We do got Team Canada there with Nick Taylor, Adam Hadwin. Do they pique your interest at all? What are you doing with this range? 2 teams that you're on and 1 fade. Oh,
mute rookie.
You got to drink. Got to drink.
I'll drink for that. Sorry.
Love it.
So I'm going to go down in this range. So I really do like. I've been playing a lot of Robbie Shelton. He's been popping on and off. But I'm going to go back to him and Lee Hodges. Hodges has been playing pretty well of late. I really like the duo there. And then going down below that, so Brandon Wu and Joseph Bramlett. I think is an interesting combo on this golf course. So you don't necessarily have to be long. Bramlett's one of the longer guys. I think those two are a really interesting duo because Wu is not going to be very long. Bramlett will be. From an alternate shot perspective, I think they can strategize around this golf course pretty well. And again, I don't love, like you said, the Fitzpatrick brothers don't make a lot of sense to me. Redmond and Ryder, I mean, Ryder's just spotty, and then Redmond hasn't been the same Redmond that we've seen. I think that'll probably be the fade. Is probably just I'll just say the Fitzpatrick team because that's probably going to be the most popular. So, yeah, those are my two teams, and then a fade. Hopefully that accomplished the goal here. But yeah, I really do like the that Lee Hodges team. I think that's a really cool team.
Yeah, there was a point in time where I thought Doc Redmond was going to be pretty good, at least like in bad events. He was kind of a hero for us for a while, and then he's been terrible. He's been really bad, and that form is. I mean, I think he still makes putts. I think he still makes putts, but that's about it. Outside of making putts.
I have not seen his name on a leaderboard in like a year and a half.
A long time. A long time.
While.
All right, Locks, AK range, two teams that you like, one fade.
Yeah, looking at the range, I think my fade is going to be the Fitzpatrick team as well. The two teams I'm on are actually probably a little bit different. I am on the Canadians. I do like that Nick Taylor and Adam Hadwin team. I will be definitely playing that team. I do like them together. And then the other one is Tom Hoagie and Harris English. I was on English a bit last week, kind of disappointing, but I think him and Hoagie could be good here and complement each other as well in the alternate shot type of thing. So I'd say those are my two favorite teams here. It might be a little bit different than most, but that's where I'm leaning looking at it right now.
Yeah, I kind of like that call. I think Hoagie's coming off wasn't he? He was pretty bad last week, right? Who remembers that? Last week, wasn't he just terrible?
I can pull it up. I don't remember off the top of my head. I did play him though.
Yeah, he missed the last two cuts.
I think I did too. I just don't want to remember.
He lost over 5 strokes ball striking.
He lost 7.5 strokes tee to green last week.
Oh man, well I might
have to move. It's just
there's always an outlier.
Yeah, he's a streaky guy.
But I do like Harris English, a guy I've always liked, and after the injury, kind of really just grinding, trying to return to form. He'll get there. I just think it's going to continue to take some time. I'm pretty boring in this range. I do like the Canadians too, Nick Taylor, Adam Hadwin. I just think they're safe. And at this type of event, I think when you just look at them together, what they can do, and then also just from a team approach, both being Canadian, has to weigh into something there. So I like these. I like that team. I like the Brendan Todd, Patton Kazire call as well. And then Drew, you got me sold again. Brandon Wu, Joseph Bramlett. Bramlett can absolutely nuke it. And then Brandon Wu, kind of a sneaky, sleeper type of guy. This can't be a team that gets a lot of ownership too. And this is where, like at this type of event, I think you can eat chalk, can't lay Xander. I think we would all recommend eating that chalk. There's going to be ways to get different. And it's just finding kind of these little sleepers here like Wu and Bramlett. I just don't see a lot of people going there. So I like that call. And then I'm always a sucker for Chesson Hadley when I can kind of justify playing him. I more so like Ben Martin, how he's playing right now. And I just hope Hadley, definitely the weak link. The guy weighs like probably 110 pounds. I mean, Snyder, he probably weighs less than you. I actually guarantee that. And he's like 6'6". The dude is tiny, but man, I'm always tempted to play him a little bit. So I'm going to have a few shares of Chesson Hadley, Ben Martin, and then I'm with you guys on fading Fitzpatrick, the Fitzpatrick duo. Let's keep this going. Snyder, going right back to you. The same thing, same question, 7K range. A lot of teams in here, but let's find two teams that we each like and one fade in this range.
All right. There's I'll just give two, but there's 3 teams I'm really keying in on here.
You can give 3. That's fine.
Yeah, I'll give all 3 of them. Then I mean, there might even be another one, but a few soldiers are down in this range that have been soldiers throughout the year and such. And you look at the win odds. I mean, Ben An and SH Kim. I mean, those two are just like great options, I think, for this type of event. I mean, Benny On's going to hit it to 5 feet like every chance he gets. and then hopefully SH can make some putts there. But definitely like those two. I think they're 30-1 to win this event now. They opened at like 55 and they've been bet down to like 30-1. I think I seen last, and they're 7.1K. So I mean, it's very, very rare to see a 30-1 win odds priced at 7.1. So I'll probably just swallow that chalk and then look to get a little bit different somewhere like Harry Hall and Akshay Bahia. I think they're going to be under 10%. I think both of those young studs, it's going to be interesting to watch them play.
Drew's going to regret coming on the show. We don't do good with the pronouncing names.
Yeah.
Like Snyder, I'm sitting here hoping that you're going to be on your boy Dafu. Is that what you call him, Dafu?
No, we're not going there quite, but I don't even know what the heck I called him last time.
You should tune into the MMA show on Fridays. I butcher every single name, even if it's like Smith. I'll mess that one up. I think there was one that was like Matthias, and I was like Mathuas, and I'm just completely terrible.
Hey, you're in the right place. You're definitely in the right place.
That's perfect.
And then I like those two young guns there, and then a team that could see some ownership. I don't know if they will, though, but like I've been playing this Nikolai Hogard quite a bit recently. I mean, he's been real strong. And then Olsen's just been playing just from the ball striking standpoint. He's been pretty elite overseas. So I like those two kind of teaming up here. 7-9. I think they might be like somewhere in that 15% range, which is fine. I think both of those guys are going to complement each other quite well. Then if I had to give another one, it'd be a soldier, Ben Griffin. He was my Korn Ferry Tour flag playing off the tour last year. Had a great fall. He's been playing good this year as well. And he's paired up with another Korn Ferry Tour graduate and Ryan Gerard. So I really like those two as well. Kind of 4 options there I'm kind of on in this range, but I really like all 4 of them. I'll be mixing and matching these guys as much as possible with those top 2 studs that I'm going to be playing as well.
I'm surprised we didn't get a little Brandon Wu and Dylan Wu as a team. That would have been a nice team there. Dylon, yeah. Dylon Wu. Drew, 7K range, a lot of options down here. 2 or 3 teams that you like, and then 1 fade.
Checking that I'm not on mute. Good. All right. So I really do. I think Snyder kind of undersold the Hogard and Olesen pairing. So Olesen not only just is striking it well, he just won over there in February, followed it up with another T6 the week after, had a T4 the week before. I mean, the dude's been playing really good all year. He has not finished outside the top 20 from what I'm looking at. So he's playing well. Hogard's been playing well too on the PGA Tour. So I think that team there is really good. I'm not sure if it'll necessarily be sneaky, but most people are just going to be looking at PGA Tour stats, and you'll see some Hogard, and that's about it. And Hogard, I think he finished second at Corrales, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So again, alternate field event, but let's be honest, this field is probably alternate field once you get past like the 10K range. So I really do like that grouping. The other one, I think I'll go to MJ Dafu, whatever you want to pronounce it. I'm pretty sure it's Daffy. I played with him in college, actually. He's a bomber. But I think him and Duncan are in really good form. And at 7,500, I think that's just an easy pairing as far as price goes. So
I think he's playing with EVR, though.
Is he with EVR?
Yeah, I think so.
I got him mixed up. Let's see here.
He's still fine with EVR.
Yeah,
he probably
that's Lox's guy.
To be honest, yeah, Daffy. I mean, MJ. I would not have been playing him. His putting has been so bad. I don't know if you guys can pull up his player sheet, but like he was losing like 5 strokes putting, 4 strokes putting, 6 strokes putting, and then finally he finished. He played decent at Valero. So I still like him as an upside guy. And then I got to go to Ben On in SH Cam. I mean, you kind of got to follow the odds to a degree. At 7,100, when I first looked at ownership yesterday, they were second highest owned. So I don't know if things flattened out after that, but I immediately went to that team. Ben On's ball striking is great. Again, it comes down to a putting contest here. If the winning score is going to be 27, 28, 29 under par. But I think that's just a good value spot. It's obviously underpriced if Vegas and people betting it are moving the number that much. So I like those 3 teams quite a bit.
Yeah, it doesn't take a lot to sell me on our boy Benny On. So I love that call. Another guy that at some of these teams, I'm just so tempted. If I do decide to dial back, volume. I just like to lock some of these teams in, make it easy. At that price point, and with what, Benion, his skill set and everything, and SH Kim, man, I might just, lock him in and move on. Locks, what are you doing? What are you doing with the 7K range? A few teams that you like, and then who are you fading?
Yeah, down here is where I'm actually looking to be a little bit more chalky. Looking at the lineups, I think Olesen and Hogard is just a great play here. I think they're almost a lock for me personally, so I definitely agree there. And then Benion, SH Kim, they're interesting. I like them as well. So those are my two favorites down here. I do like Ben Griffin, Ryan Gerard. That is another team I was looking at. And then if I were to throw one in there that maybe not a lot of people are looking at, is maybe a little bit of Smotherman and Harry Higgs. That's a little interesting duo for me. They could have a lot of fun out there. And those guys can get hot. So I think that's an interesting team for me that I could see sub 5%.
Yeah, very good. For me, in this range, Benion, like I already said, very, very high on that team. Looking through here, Tyler Duncan, again, the guy, pretty good ball striker, playing with Hank the Tank. I kind of like that team. I could definitely see them making my pool. Doug Gim, I love what I saw last week from him. I know through 3 rounds, I believe he was right up there. I can't recall how he finished just with NBA playoffs going on. I've been very, very dialed into that. But anytime Doug Gim is, I see him return to form, always a guy I'm going to have a little bit of interest in if the price is right. And I don't mind Kramer Hickok. I mean, there's been a few times where we've seen him in contention. I do think not the strongest team in this range, but one that I think makes for a fine play in tournaments. And then, the EVR team, I mean, Locks, I might be on your board this week. And Daffy, I believe that's how we say his name. Is that right, Drew?
Yeah, that's how I was told.
A fool.
I know it's
and then,
true, but I'm pretty sure it was Daffy.
One team that just seems a little underpriced, too, is the Scott Stallings. I kind of like how he's playing. Obviously, he overperformed at the Masters, I think. And then Trey Molinek's a guy I don't mind as well. So he can also bomb it. Absolutely can crush it off the tee. So I kind of like that team. Stallings, pretty big, pretty long off the tee as well. So I think that team is quite interesting. My one fade, Snyder, who do you think is going to be like the top 2 or 3 highest owned squads in this range? Any idea off the top of your head?
I think it's going to be Benion 1.
No, don't. I can't fade him though.
It looks like Trey Molinek's. They're going to be pushing like 20%.
I can't fade him either.
And
I mean, I was going to say my fade would be the old guys, Zach Johnson and Steve Stricker. I mean, I can't go there. I mean, Drew, like any of you guys playing that team, ZJ and Steve Stricker?
No.
Yeah, no, we can't play them. I'm gonna lock that in as my fade. Snyder, let me keep it with you. 6K range, a lot of groups down in this range, and a lot of just groups that on paper seems like easy cuts, like Jeff Ogilvy and Kevin Sadler. Like, I mean, man, there's some dusty groups down here in this range. Who do you like and who are you fading?
There's definitely some dust balls down here. I kind of want to play John Daly, but I probably won't get there. That's a good one there, Viking.
This is a good comment right there. I can't make fun of him because I guarantee you Stricker outdrives me by a lot. So I can't make fun of him.
The question is John Daly going to be drinking the whole time on his golf cart when he's going around? But there's some teams down here. I'm kind of looking at Carson Young, if he can carry over that. He played well last week, him in Westmoreland. I think that could be some interesting team right there at 6,500. Austin Eckroat's a name. I don't know if I'll get there. Tyson Alexander is a guy with pretty good birdie upside. I've been kind of watching him a little bit coming off the Korn Ferry Tour. Carl Jan is just an absolutely horrific form, but maybe those two could spark something. I mean, I'm trying not to play as many guys as I can down here. I think a lot of people are going to go to this Michael Kim and our guy, soon you all know, at 6,800. I think they've got the best recent form heading in down here, and then the best event history here. So I think I'd go there if I had to. But yeah, there are some dusty teams. I think Carson Young and then probably Soon You'll Know would be my top 2 teams.
All right, very good. Drew, let's go over to you. Is there any like motivational factors for like guys down in this range? Just like, is this an event where you could see people like try extra hard, if that makes sense, to like try to retain like their PGA Tour card? Yeah. There's just so many dusty names, and it's like some of these guys are going to be like giving max effort just because you got to think that you're like, how are these guys still, playing?
No, for sure. They definitely have motivation because you'll see a lot of names that don't have probably any exemptions left, but they're getting paired with an old buddy that's probably trying to get them across the line to get some extra status. But we've seen this before. I mean, like with Fitzpatrick brothers, they're doing the same thing that the Koepka brothers did, and that didn't really do any good. So, yes, they're definitely going to be motivation, but I don't think that's enough to carry them across the finish line. I think down here, so I take a different approach as we go down into this pricing. And honestly, for here, I think Snyder kind of hinted at it a bit. I think birdie or better is going to be a big number I'll look at, like just looking for upside. So I just want to see guys that are capitalizing on their opportunities. They don't have to be, avoiding a lot of bogeys. Most of these guys aren't. That's why they're down here. So I think a guy like Westmoreland, which is an interesting one with as many missed cuts, he actually has a lot of birdie opportunities just looking inside of like 24 feet. So I think that pairing is actually someone that I would look to. I actually played him, I think the week before the Honda, I think it was the API maybe, and he shot like 80, and then he shot like 65 at Honda, and I faded him. So I don't mind going back to him. Fabian Gomez I'm looking at. He's with Augusto Nunez. I've been watching Augusto Nunez a good bit, and I'm sure not many people are familiar with him, but he's been decent. And again, we're just trying to find decent down here. I think Sung Yell No is fine. So, I mean, honestly, I think you go back to Sam Stevens as well. So Sam Stevens is coming in. I think him and Ryan Gerard both got temporary PGA Tour status this week. Is that right? I saw an announcement that they had. So like he's been very hit or miss. Second of Valero Texas Open, he had some missed cuts in there. Obviously played well earlier in the West Coast swing. So I think just trying to find birdie upside is where I'm going to try to lean this week. And I really like Fabian Gomez, Augusto Nunez. And I think that Westmoreland team is interesting.
Yeah, very good. I think one thing we're all going to agree on is you can make a lot of cuts down in the 6K range. These dusty names we talked about, they will get ownership. I look at it every single week, and almost the entire field gets played. Not to like a great extent or anything like that, but these teams are going to get some ownership just with how some of the multi-entry people play, which is perfectly fine. I just am going to choose to get very overweight on the teams that I feel comfortable with. And Locks, I'm telling you, I don't feel too comfortable with many names down in this range. What are you doing with these teams down in the 6K range?
No, I'm the same way. I don't feel very comfortable down here either. It sucks going last a little bit because I was hoping Drew left out that last little bit on Sam Stevens. That was going to be the one team I touched on. But I'm pretty much in lockstep with you guys down here. For me, it's crossing literally everybody off. I'll play Sam Stevens and McGreevy. That's one of my favorite teams down here. And then I was looking at Carson Young and Westmoreland as well. Those are really the only two teams I'm even kind of considering down in this range. Otherwise, I'll be almost completely out of it, I think.
Yeah. So, like, I think there are a couple, like, kind of interesting names, too, just to add on, like Russell Knox and Brian Stewart. I mean, Russell Knox hasn't been playing good golf. And Stewart, not a long hitter. On some of these random events, like I used to play him, like in weak field type events that are birdie fests. You'll see this guy kind of randomly pop. 6,400 just seems really cheap. I'm not going to get way overweight on him, but I could see them being in my player pool. And then, man, a lot of cuts down in this range. Just I like the Tyson Alexander call from you, Snyder. I think I'm going to add them to my player pool. David Lingmerth and Jonas Blix. I mean, it's really thin, but Lingmerth, like, he's kind of been playing some decent golf right now. Jonas Blix, I have no idea. I have no idea how he's been playing, but Lingmerth has at least been hitting it somewhat decently. So, I might have them in my player pool, but outside of that, plus some of the names that you guys mentioned, this is not a range that I want to mess around with too much. So I'm going to make a ton of cuts down here, and I feel pretty good about that. Let's get to our winners, final thoughts, and then we'll get out of here. Snyder, let's just do one overall winner. It can't be the favorites. So that's because I think we would all probably say Patrick Cantlay, Xander. So it just can't be those two, but only one winner this week.
Yeah, I'm going to go with a team in that 7K range I hinted on, and then Drew talked about him also, so maybe I'm taking not his guy, but I'm going to take Olsen and Hogard at 35-1 to win this event. I think they've both been playing great golf overseas and on the PGA Tour. I like how their games mesh to each other, so I'm going to go with those guys to win the event.
All right, very good. Drew, who do you got winning that isn't Cantlay and Xander?
I think I got to go to Wyndham Clark and Hostler. So I'll go a little bit higher up, but I think they have similar odds, right? Right around
25-1, yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I really like. Again, I've been playing a lot of Wyndham Clark. I hardly ever play Hostler, so I think AP. I think you said something about this about someone else, but like this is a perfect excuse for me to play Hostler when I never play him. And
Chess and Hadley.
Who I like. Yeah, there you go. So yeah, I can never get them right. So if I fade them, I'll probably get them right, 75% of the time. So Wyndham Clark's my pick, and Bo Hostler's along for the ride.
All right, very good. Locks, who do you got winning?
I was going to say Zach Johnson and Stricker, but you guys talked me off of it. So I think I'm going to go with my team up top, Sungjae Im and Keith Mitchell. I think they're going to pull this dang thing out. Just a ball striking performance. I don't know. I feel good about this team playing together, really. So I think they're taking it down this week. They're going to take down the big boys, Cantlay and Schauffele.
All right, very good. I got Billy Horschel and Sam Burns. So I think it's just with Billy Horschel questionable for him coming in. I think all it takes is one good round, and if they're in it, those two definitely a team that could be dialed in and could find themselves in contention. So I like Billy Ho, Sam Burns. Snyder, final thoughts.
Yeah, head on over to Run Pure Sports. Use the promo code Snyder15. I've got the playbook up, pretty much completed now. The cash chart's coming up. We're going to have core plays. We'll have everything over there. AP's going to have his heat map. And then I don't think we're going to have showdown content this week, so we'll be skipping that. I think we may have that bet show still tomorrow on the same channel tomorrow with me and Dunkel and Mangone and Uncle T and Kurt. So, yeah, looking forward to this event. Kind of a change of pace here. Be fun to watch.
Yeah, the heat map will definitely be more of like a player pool format this week, just with this event being so much different. Drew, what are your final thoughts for the people this week?
Yeah, I think this is a good excuse to get contrarian a bit. Fade some. I mean, don't fade all the chalk, but definitely as you go down, try to take some take some loose calls, I guess. Guys coming in with mediocre form or poor form even can probably can finish top 20 or top 15 and do well in GPP. So if you are playing GPPs, broaden your pool. I think just watch the exposures. I think that's really where you can get in trouble because I'm sure projections will heavily weight one side or the other. So just monitor your player pool. I really do like this event. It should be a fun sweat, hopefully, on Saturday and Sunday.
One final question, too, for you real quick. Just, brought up projections. I find events like this really hard to project. And I tend to use more of a Minimax, to find my player pool. Is that similar to what do you still use and lean on kind of projections in this type of format?
Yeah, I mean, I do. I try to do projections, but my player pool is basically what I'm basing it off of, and the projections are just a ranking system. I mean, it's going to correlate a lot with pricing, but right. I'm doing an average between the two guys and trying to weight it as best I can that way. There's no perfect science with this event. I mean, it can't be the best guy. They can't just pull the guy up to the best guy's skill level. It would be like Cantlay and John Daly's not going to play Cantlay's level. So somewhere in the middle, and then just trying to make eyeball tests on guys and just making a judgment call on form. So it's a bit of an art, I think, this week for sure.
Yeah, very good advice there. Locks, final thoughts this week, my man.
Yeah, for me in these events, it's basically just looking at current form, looking at how people are paired together, and just kind of, for me, the main focus is alternate shot and who's going to complement who. I just kind of look for that in these type of events because alternate shot is that's really where the money's made and how you kind of gain ground or stay where you're at. You can lose a lot of ground on the alternate shot. So I think that's most important for me is just kind of looking at how people might mesh together and their games might kind of help each other in that aspect of things. But other than that, yeah, the boys are on playback after us, I think, tonight. So hop on there. I'm sure some of us might pop in there. And then good luck this week. Let's run Pier.
Yeah, very good. My final thoughts are, I think each and every year I say, dial it back, dial back volume, don't go crazy. And what happens, I typically play my usual volume. So we'll see if we do that this week. But I do think it's a good week to experiment with multi-entry. If you haven't used an optimizer much, come check out SaberSim, the optimizer that we use. Really great week just to have some fun, mess around with that. I like targeting like the $5. Usually it's like 50K up top. I think it's a great tournament to target for a format like this. And like Drew said, don't be afraid to get contrarian, get a little different. Maybe use your crowns if you're a crown hoarder and you want to throw those at some contests. So outside of that, I'm going to have a very defined pool. I'm going to have, 3 or 4 teams I'm very overweight on, and then I plan on opening it up. That's going to be my strategy. All the content's going to be up tomorrow. Player pools, heat map, playbook. Make sure you get in Discord. Lots of good nuggets there in Discord. If you are not a member, come check us out. You can sign up for a week, sign up for a month. Use the code Snyder15, LOCKS15. There you go. Locks is pointing to that. LOCKS15. Come test us out over here at Run Pure Sports. Well, I'm going to leave it at that. We got the Zurich Classic, Zurich Open. What is it? Zurich Classic? Is that right? Yeah. Classic. There you go. Let's have fun with it this week, people. So I'm AP. That's Locks, Red Kachik, Drew Matthews, and Snyder. Snyder, get us out of here, my man.